You know, here we say, let the children speak. Let the children speak. Bring the kids up to the front. Let them speak. But there is let them live.
Yeah.
Let them live. We'll now open it up for a couple questions. When I call on you, please say your name and your outlet. Yes.
My name is Arthur Jones, ABC2.
Speak up a little because
We've spoken to a lot of. Sorry about that. We've spoken to a lot of Palestinian students who say that the rise in Islamophobia in this country has not been weighed the same as the rise in antisemitism in this country. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill just had a hearing about antisemitism and the rise in antisemitism. Do you feel as though Congresswoman believes that Islamophobia has been weighted the same as antisemitism in this country?
Hold on. Anybody here a student on campus?
anybody here is student? Okay.
Yeah. No, I just rather students speak and stuff. I mean, look, the dehumanization is happening, and I definitely. So the question is whether or not that it's weighed. I mean, look, there's no hierarchy who gets hated the most.
Right.
I'm tired of folks, trying to say, no, we're getting hurt more. Everyone gets hurt when we allow any form of hate to increase in our country. But what is really distressing is when, Congresswoman Bush and I are called repugnant, or what is the other word?
Disgraceful.
Disgraceful for calling for a ceasefire, for people to use this moment to try to, in many ways, target women of color, myself as being a Palestinian American, and others for speaking the truth about what is happening on the ground. I mean, you heard it firsthand from doctors that tell you the reality of what's happening on the ground. But it's very unfortunate. I want, all those that, from college students to those in the workplace, I'm getting the calls of people being pushed to silence, being bullied. Some people weaponizing anti-Semitism in a way to silence voices. All of that needs to stop. Americans have a right to speak up. Americans have a right to the institutions they work at or the people that represent them to say, look, this is my opinion. I believe you should support X, Y, and Z. And again, we have to be able to make sure that as we look at all these forms of hate, that it is not being weaponized in a way to silence voices like myself and many of the voices that are here.
Let me get to another person. Yes.
Weaponizing Great TV. Congresswoman Bush, obviously your support for the Palestinian community is great, but you still face a lot of criticism at home for being perceived as anti-Semitic. What's your response to that criticism?
So, first of all, let me just say, I have condemned anti-Semitism 800 times over and over, and not just since October the 7th. But this is the thing. As much as it is unacceptable and it is intolerable, we also can't conflate the criticism of Israel, the Israeli government, with anti-Semitism. And we also have to stop with the words. It's this word, you said that word, you said this word, it hurt me. Well, how much hurt do people feel when the bombs hit them? Like, that's what I'm worried about. Yeah. This word hurt me. You used this word. Well, a word was used, but you are safe. A word was used, and you stand here in this country and you're able to walk in and out of your home. You're able to walk to the grocery store. You're able to tuck your kid in at night. You're not worried about if today is the day the bomb hits you. And so, no, I am not anti-Semitic. I have called for peace for everyone. All life is sacred, and I will not continue to allow people to try to distract by calling me or my colleagues anti-Semitic. You can take it how you want, but at the end of the day, we are the ones that continue to show up and fight for all. When we had a vigil, when Rashida Tlaib and I had a vigil along with our colleagues right there on those steps, and we said we're going to mourn and grieve the lives of all Israelis and all Palestinians killed, where were the rest of our colleagues? Where were all the people who received the information that this was going to be something that was open for them to show up to? They didn't show up. You can take a look at the photo. Look at the photo when they said this is for the Israeli lives lost versus the photo for Israeli and Palestinian lives lost. So who is speaking up for all the people? Who are the ones that are actually for all people, not for some people? That is us, and we're going to continue to do that. Go ahead.
I just wanted to speak a little bit because we didn't have any students here that could talk about what they're dealing with. I think you're specifically talking perhaps about university students. But I just want to say I have 5 children, okay? And I've had to get involved in the school system. And I'm very fortunate that I have a wonderful school system. But my 12-year-old was targeted, okay? She was targeted because her father is Palestinian. And she was targeted by another 12-year-old. And so words matter in the sense that we are unleashing things in this country, but it's against children who are Palestinian as well. Things were said about her that were reprehensible. And so I just ask that all of you keep that in mind, that there are a lot of children here suffering, okay? There is a rise in Islamophobia and antisemitism. It is real, okay? These things are real, but it doesn't serve any of us to ignore what is happening all over this country for so many people of different backgrounds. Okay, so children are being targeted, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you. She's 12, and the child was 12. These are children. They are hearing this from somewhere, okay?
So thank you. So we hear all the time about anti-Semitism, about Islamophobia, about racism, all kinds of racism, and of course they are all wrong. We are against all of them. What we don't hear about is the one that is rising the most. It's called anti-Palestinian racism. That is a distinct category by itself, and it has been the most lethal form of racism in the last few months. We're already witnessing the loss of 20,000 Palestinian lives because they don't count, because there is in the United States politicians and leaders who have anti-Palestinian racism, and they see the Palestinian life to be of lesser value. We saw that 6-year-old child in Chicago who was murdered by his neighbor. He stabbed him. A 70-year-old stabbed a 6-year-old boy 30 times because of anti-Palestinian racism. Please remember this word. Anti-Palestinian racism. This is the one that we should be talking about, not about the other ones. We know all about the other ones. We are not against anyone. We are only against anti-criminals. We are against crimes. We are against crimes. We are anti-criminals. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.